Okay, I'm going to give you my thoughts and kind of conclusions on this Crossen actually system. It's not a tool, it's a system of making combustible cartridges. And I'll zoom in on the stuff and we'll discuss it. I'll give you the pros and the cons. And yeah, spoiler alert, I kind of do recommend getting this. All right, and we'll discuss that here in a second. Okay, so what we have with this Crossen system, I'm going to call it, is this individual sat down, and this is the good thing about it, actually, designed a device, okay, that what it does is this is for high efficiency, precision, and making a bunch of cartridges with ease. He's put all of this in there. He's designed this to where when things get worn out, they can be replaced and fixed. Okay, in other words, he thought ahead of that. He solved one major problem. He solved cutting out the forms. Made it simple so somebody like me can easily cut precision, accurate forms out. Gluing. You got to put a little bit of glue around that thing. He come up with a way of gluing, applying a very nice, even, controllable coat of glue to the heel of the bullet. Fix it. And he even made a device that handles the bullet and makes it easier. His mandrel, like I said, the design allows you to manipulate, handle it, and everything much better than the shorter ones. Okay. And he even come up and designed all these little accessories to hold the bullets, the cases, everything, and make it all work. Okay? There was a lot of thought, a lot of effort put into this. And he's changed it already. Any problems that he's found, he's already modifying it in the 2 weeks since I even found out about this thing. It's being reworked and changed over. High quality, this is all high quality stuff. You don't find anything anymore that's made out of quality material like this, okay? And once you learn this system, and once you figure out how to use it, get the techniques down, you can very rapidly make combustible cartridges fairly well and of good quality and tight packing. Okay, so there's a lot of pluses on this. Also, the only con is he's kind of designed this for one specific bullet, one specific load. His techniques and methods are fantastic, but he's making one cartridge with a Johnson & Dow bullet with a certain load. So the templates, everything, and the whole procedure is kind of narrowed down to one specific thing. Okay, and what happens with me is he had to make me a separate block because using a smaller charge, okay, throws off the whole height of this thing. But the one thing we forgot is, like when you see in a video where I put it and that paper sticks up, that paper should be recessed down in there, almost flush with this block here, this crimp block. And then when the bullet seats with the glue on there, this will crimp it and make a perfect cartridge. What has happened is because, now this is the best one I got out of all of them. And what it was is when I pushed the bullet down and went down below and the paper's riding a little too high, but this thing makes a perfect cartridge. So what it all boiled down to is the paper tube is a tad bit too long for the load. So this throws a monkey wrench into it. But in a very short period of time, compared to your standard block and mandrel device, okay, right out the gate, even though, you know, I watched his video, I was able to construct good tubes. I had to change, like I said, I had to use a different type of paper. I used the coffee filters nitrated, is the way to go with me. I found they're better, they make a better cartridge. Other than cigarette rolling papers or that. So paper, getting the correct paper and stuff is important, a key in the whole process, no matter which device or system you use. Now, the way he's got this set up, very easy, it's very convenient. You put it on there and it does a good job. It forms the thing, the actual little paper body. But when it comes down to devil in the details, your powder charge and the height of this block to make the crimp. What happens is the paper either catches and crushes down when you try to seat the bullet because it's up too high and it's hitting the part. In other words, the paper tube is too long and the bullet catches it and crushes it down. It is just a matter of getting that paper tube to the correct height, and this thing would make perfect bullets. But the way he's got this all tricked out, it's difficult to adjust that. I either have to change the template or, yeah, basically I have to change the template. The length of the tube is too long. So that's the crux of the problem. But in a very short period of time, even though I was not quite 100% perfect and successful, compared to, I did a video where I was using this, I had to make like 2 or 3 takes. This will work, okay? The one thing about this style is usually these mandrels are short and I have trouble manipulating them and getting them steady in my hands. Where he come up with the idea of crimping your tubes, you're more or less pressing your tubes down and giving them a twist to form them. Which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just consistency. I'm finding consistency and accuracy in cutting the tube and forming the tube is the key to making a good combustible paper cartridge. It can be done. I produced a halfway decent cartridge, which is pretty firm, no wrinkles. You can see, if you can see around the edge there, the edge of that tube was not quite even, but this is probably a workable cartridge. The only problem is when I got my powder charge and my cartridge in the block, I had to place the bullet with glue around the edge, and what I did here is I took a paintbrush and glued the heel, gently put it in there, gave it a little press, and then what I would have to do to crimp this is I'd have to roll this, you know, like this in my fingers. I have to roll it in my fingers and hope that I kept the compression to make a cartridge. It can be done. A good cartridge can be made with this block. But I spent about 2.5, 3 hours and threw away a lot of paper and stuff and everything figuring out a way to do it. It's not that it can't be done. It's not that it can't be learned. It's not that it, you know, can't successfully and accurately make a cartridge. It just takes a lot of work, time, and getting used to it and figuring out, adjusting the template, adjusting the paper, and getting a technique through trial and error, a lot of bad cartridges, to make cartridges with it. Where this system, somebody went and did all that, and what you were paying him for is he shows you a technique that saves you a lot of time and trouble getting to where you can make a perfected cartridge. That is the main difference between the two systems. Okay, this one is not very expensive, pretty simple. If you're the type of guy that you're just going to shoot a few rounds or you want to get some to work a little bit, this may be the way to go. Okay, also with this style of cartridge maker, say you wanted to use a round ball or something else, you can experiment. If you're clever enough, you can experiment, change things around, and with just this simple tool, you know, kind of come up with something else fairly easily without having to get more equipment. Now back to this Cartridge deal. I mean, this is effective, and I mean, if you load that stuff the way he wants it with this one bullet, you can mass produce very simply. easily and make a perfect cartridge. He's actually working on any of the bugs in this, okay? And I found one myself. It's just the length. This thing would work fine. It's just I have to adjust the length of the tube. And I'd be making perfect cartridges all day long. Okay, the only coming back to the con, this takes a lot of the hassle, a lot of the work, a lot of the screwing around out of it. It simplifies everything. You know, this here alone simplifies the process. To me, it's well worth the money just for this thing, okay? Because it helps me out, simplifies everything. And the only problem is it's set up so precisely, it's very specific to what you make. That's the only downside about it. But he's working on making something that can be adjustable, and in that way you can tweak it yourself to get right to where you need to. I mean, I just got to put a little more work into it and figure out how to adjust something or change the template, and I'd be good as gold. So what it comes down to is a matter of choice. I mean, a lot of the people, I guess, are older. I hear about problems with arthritis and that. A lot of the ideas in this system are fantastic and are time savers and help simplify the process of making this. You know, like I said, the other one I have to get it down there and then roll it with my fingers and other than crimping it and making a perfect bullet. So that's my conclusion, and it's honest. You know, he's working on other calibers like 36 and that, and making the adapters, but you know, this is all new. Give the guy some time. I must admit that he constantly, you know, this isn't his main line of work, this is a hobby for him. He's constantly improving and getting the feedback from people and making this product worthwhile. And just that alone, the thought put in, the engineering and the designing, and the fact that he's constantly improving the product at a very rapid pace too, this is not like after 6 months or something, is something you don't find nowadays, all right? You don't find that in any type of product, no matter what it is. So that in itself speaks for itself in this device, okay? That's about the best way I can put it. All right, guys, that's my key, and like I said, after several attempts here, I just have to fine-tune the paper length, the length of the cartridge, and I got this. Okay, even though I'm kind of tired, I got some other things I got to do. But that's my take on it. I will have a video up using this thing, okay? And then on the other hand, you know, because I don't know when he'd have a 36, I'm going to have to try to do some 36 caliber using a mandrel style, which, like I said, this still will work in itself, okay? But that's my honest opinion of it, and you know, you guys take that information and make your own choice. All right, thank you.